Well, well, well. Hello, everyone. How goes? How goes? We are sitting here, stacked up for Apollo 10 at the T-minus 20-minute mark, so we won't have to sit through, you know, all of that pre-start checklists and everything. We'll just be able to, pretty much go ahead and start working towards launch right away. Yeah, I mean, it was fairly spontaneous to do this today, considering I'm a bit tired. But we just decided to. Someone asked, and I was like, you know what? I guess I will. I was gonna do it tomorrow and do, some cleaning today, but I'll switch them around. Apollo 10, because this was the voted upon mission. Honestly, I thought you guys were gonna vote Apollo 9. I was not expecting Apollo 10, but I'm quite happy because Apollo 10 is a little bit easier than Apollo 9. A little bit, a lot of it. Apollo 9 is single-handedly the most difficult mission in this game, with maybe the exception of Apollo 13, but honestly, I don't think... Gut instinct tells me Apollo 13 is not going to be a particularly hard mission. Once you get through the explosion part, then it gets a lot easier. How far down does the LEM get in Apollo 10? I don't remember. It's a couple thousand feet. Honestly, it does look like you're going to smash into the surface, like a couple of those high mountain tops. Like, it looks like you just barely coast over them. Of course, again, there's a few thousand feet in between you and the mountain tops, so... but honestly, I don't remember. We'll have to see. Great. T-minus 1 minute. We are rigged for flight. "50 seconds. Take a drink. Cheers, and Godspeed that I don't make any mistakes while I'm very tired. GDC align, no motion, release. T-minus 30 seconds. Inside the vehicle or outside the vehicle? You've got about 20 seconds to decide. Are we watching the launch from the inside or the outside? Outside it is, Raj.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff. On your liftoff. Well, y'all maneuver. Roger. Clock is started. Right. And the big last go. Roger.
Oh, tower cleared.
And roll program right on time. Roger, Tom. She's looking good, Charlie. Beautiful.
Fortunately, no booster audio.
Okay, pitch is tracking, looking good. Roger.
We get it in Apollo 5, but...
Roll complete, ELS manual. Roger, roll.
But not any other missions for whatever reason.
Roger, 1 Bravo.
Okay, propellant dump RCS command, 1 Bravo. Cabin pressure is decreasing.
Starting to rattle a little bit in here. Roger.
Yep, shaking now as we're approaching a maximum dynamic pressure. Maximum dynamic pressure is estimated to be at 1 minute and 17 seconds. Mark, max Q. Stand by for mode 1 Charlie. Mark, mode 1 Charlie. EDS is manual.
Inboard engines out. I'm inboard cut off.
Inboard cut off. Okay, go for the ground, or go from the ground for staging. Standing by for staging sequence. Staging. And ignition. Thrusters go. Skirt sep. Tower's gone.
Roger, tower.
Okay, evaporator is in. Steering's converged. Good guidance on the S2. We can see our skirt and our tower falling away. T plus 3 minutes and 54 seconds. Good day, Arco. 4 minutes. Acquisition Bermuda. Let's hope we don't spontaneously disappear, yeah? Let's hope those legends are false. velocity currently 11,400 feet per second. Altitude 75.8 nautical miles high. Coming up on T plus 5 minutes. Mark, T plus 5. Stand by for S4B to CY capability. Yeah, I saw that. Stand by for S4B to orbit capability. 2, 1, mark. S4B to orbit capability. And we have switched Omni Delta. Spacecraft is prepared for an emergency abort in which the SPS would be required, so gimbal motors have been armed at this time. T plus 6 minutes, 45 seconds. About 1 minute to go to inboard engine cutoff. Predicted level sense arm at 8 plus 1, 5. Yeah. Welcome to Massachusetts. Honestly, the state of Massachusetts is looking like Portland, Oregon these days. Okay, 2, 1, mark inboard cutoff. We confirm inboard out. Coming up on PU shift. PU shift is a propellant utilization shift. It ensures that both the fuel and oxidizer will be drained at exactly the same time. PU shift is in. Level sense arm. Level sense arm starts the staging sequence of the second booster. Stand by for mode 4 capability. Mark, abort mode 4 capability. We are go for staging. Okay, loss of signal, Merritt and Cape Kennedy. Anticipate staging in a couple seconds. About 9 plus 09, 9 plus 11, between there. Staging. At 9 plus 14, looks like my math was a little bit off. Good light on the S4. Alright, go for orbit. Roger. Acquisition, United States Navy ship Vanguard. Alright. Looks like we're 10 minutes and we are go. Predicted cutoff, I anticipate roughly 11 plus 3.9 to 11 plus 4.2. Just based on the fact that we don't have very much ascent engine fuel. Leaning towards maybe a premature shut-off compared to what would happen, say, in Apollo 11. Alright. Everything's looking good. No one's fighting in the chat. Don't make me turn this spaceship back around. I can do it. Look at that. See that? Option 8, request abort. Don't make me turn this spaceship back around. T plus 11 minutes. We are just waiting on the engine cutoff here on the S4. Owen has given us the go for orbit. And the looks like terminal guidance has pretty much completed at this point. We got that final pitch and we're just tracking the horizon now. Getting up to the target parameters for our Earth orbital coast for one orbit. Shutdown, 11 plus 40, right on time. Ascent, or the S4B auxiliary propulsion system will be fine-tuning our orbital insertion. And in the meantime, we can start making our Earth orbit insertion checks. So we currently have a velocity of 25,560 feet per second at an average altitude of 103.2 nautical miles. We have been inserted in a 103.7 by 99.7 orbit. Also forgot to turn off the executing thing that I had on specifically for the launch cinematic. Proceed. Let's go ahead and terminate program 11 and write this information to our state vector. Okay, we've got 31102-01111. LOS Bermuda, look at that. Looks like the legends were false. We made it out of the Bermuda Triangle without spontaneously disappearing. Good work. The hard part is over. Smooth sailing from here on out. Okay. State vector looks okay. Registers 1 and 2 check out. Proceed. And we'll now begin the configuration for orbital coast. Let me know if those lighting conditions are good enough. I know things look a little bit darker after compression, so let me know if I just need to turn up those cabin lights. And we got a texture glitch on our SPS injector valves. I'm sure there'll be a hot fix for that coming out soon. Alright, safe the pyros, disarm the logic. Open these two circuit breakers. Command module RCS logic off. Cabin pressure relief valves to normal. Repress package off. Float bags off. Entry landing system and post-landing vent off. Direct O2 closed. RHC direct off. Entry monitoring system off. Okay, fuel is greater, or oxidizer is greater than the fuel, and our delta pressure looks good here, so we are go for a relight. Verb 83 is how we view our other target's state vector, kind of. We view state vectors through P21 as the most popular choice, but Verb 83 affords a way to, at a very quick glance, look at if your state vector is wrong. If you're getting information where you've got a range and range rate and you're still docked with the lunar module, for example, you know that one of your vehicles has a bad state vector. Hello, James. But Verb 83 also shows us our pitch angle to the horizon. So if we've got a bad state vector information, then the Verb 83 would show something that didn't make sense, and we're pointed directly at the horizon, so it should be roughly 0. And that which it was. So we've got a good state vector. That's how we have made that determination. Okay, our tree here of helium valves and propellant valves showing all gray. So service module RCS valves are good after the launch. Let's go ahead and just double check our package temperature, helium pressure, secondary fuel pressure, and the helium tank temperature is all good, and we will just verify 100% in all 4 quads. So from a RCS standpoint, we are good. Command modules RCS systems, we've got the helium temperature here, the helium pressure here, and then the manifold pressure here. We haven't pressurized, so these should be looking really weird. But taking a look at the checklist, we are within spec on pre-press conditions, and we've got acquisition at the Grand Canaries. So we have a go from the command module RCS perspective. We'll do a checkout of the caution and warning system here. The left bank, all lights are good. Right bank lights are good. And logic is good here. 3 lights and tone are good. Let's go ahead and get a regulator checkout running. So we'll throw in some floodlights down here. Pressure regulator B. Push to test. We'll see that needle go up and down. Push to test. Up and down again. And from the pressurization system standpoint, we are a go. We'll pull the suit circuit return, and we'll run on cabin. We'll go through the cabin, and a suit loop will be purged of its CO2, so this O2 flow will get pretty high. Next test we need to run is a check of our secondary accumulator quantity. If we start secondary glycol to radiator flow, we just want to make sure that we don't have any leakage out of our accumulator. And that quantity has held stable, so we're go. We'll go ahead and configure our primary environmental control system for orbital coast. We'll bypass the reservoir. Start radiator flow controller. And we'll initiate radiator flow by opening the isolation valve. We can see that quantity is remaining stable there. We'll heat up the radiators. And we should see that the outlet temperature on the radiator is greater than the, or excuse me, is less than the inlet. My bad. Glycol evap, we'll go ahead and get that temperature controller on, so we'll fluctuate the steam pressure in order to drive changes in temperature there. We'll start heating our potable water, and we'll get recirculation through cabin fans. And now, at this point, we are just waiting for Canary's loss of signal. We can see some very small propulsive venting coming from the booster as she is keeping that pressure within limits. As we're drifting, we will be accumulating pressure very, very slowly in the engine, and we are also cooling off our engine bell in preparation for the translunar injection burn, and we've lost it at Canaries, so we'll go ahead and continue with our checks. Pulse code modulator can go low. Uplink telemetry command reset the normal. We'll configure for simplex VHF, and we'll do a fuel cell purge check. H2. Looks good. Fuel cell 2, H2. Looks good. And fuel cell 3. Looks good. Now the O2. O2-1 looks good. The O2 on 2 looks good. And the O2 on 3 looks good. So we've got proper utilization of our purging systems, so we're go. Fuel cells are go for translunar injection. Electrical power system now. We've got good oxygen quantity, good hydrogen quantity, really nice pressures in our H2 and O2 tanks. We've got 3 good inline heaters on the fuel cells. Radiators go. Conditions here are great. We'll go ahead and check the DC plant. Fuel cell 1, 2, and 3 are showing good amps. Main bus A and B showing good volts. Bat bus A and B showing good volts. Battery C showing good volts. Pyro batteries A and B also showing good volts. DC power plant is go for TLI. Battery relay bus looks good. We'll go ahead and vent the battery manifold. Okay, battery manifold is vented. AC power plant is looking good on bus 1 and good on bus 2. Alright, electrical power system is go for TLI. Environmental control system check. Suit cabin delta pressure looks good. O2 flow is of course nominal. Surge tank looking good. I don't like the pressure in tank 1. Being as low as it is. I think we'll get a manual heat cycle going on that and see if we can't get that pressure to rise slightly. Okay, in the meantime, ECS radiators are good. Glycol evaporator looks good. Suit compressor looks good. Accumulators look good. And our potable water and the wastewater looks good. Service propulsion systems engine bell is looking great. Helium pressure and the nitrogen pressure looks good. Injector valves, of course, we can't see. We will presume them being closed. Helium valves are closed, and barber pole oxidizer unbalance is good as well. Okay, GDC align is, you know, a little bit more off than I typically would like, but we are attached to the booster, so we'd probably just introduce errors by attempting an align at this point. Because it's really hard to do that whilst on the booster, so... From that standpoint, it is definitely, although a little bit off, it's definitely good enough. So, stabilization control system looks good. Let's go ahead and mount the ordeal. There she is. Oh, thanks. Thank you for the outreach. Okay. So we'll go ahead and initialize the orbit rate display. And that is a very simple process. We take register 1, and we add that to register 2, and then we divide by 2, and that computes our average altitude of about 104.65. Then we use verb 83 here, and we'll get our pitch angle down to the local vertical. Sure, can you send that to me? Just ping me in, like, the space chat on flight server or something with the link. Alright, now we would just use this switch here, and I've actually got a keybind for it because it's really hard to do it otherwise. And obviously in real life it's easier since you don't have to turn your head to flip a switch, but we would just slew the ordeal down to that displayed pitch angle of about 359.4. And then switch to slow to turn it on, and then we just dial it a little bit in, like so. Alright, ECS redundant component check. We did already do the regulator check, so I'm content with just switching suit compressors, ensuring that that is operating correctly, and we can bypass the regulator check, and then we will just start up a secondary cooling loop test. So good discharge pressure from the pump. Good evaporator pressure, and we'll hold this for 5 minutes, and we'll just make sure the temperatures begin to line up, and once we hit a certain point in the temperatures, we should see the steam pressure begin to fluctuate. Yep, it's looking pretty good. Acquisition to Nana Reeve. Okay, let's go ahead and reset. And turn that secondary coolant loop off. Okay. It's nighttime. And we are currently over the... well, we were over some land. We are currently over the ocean now. The map shows us to be flying right behind Africa now, and we'll be approaching Australia coming up here very shortly. Ah, cryopress. That's right. I had those fans on. Fans on to build up some of that O2 pressure because it was looking really low. Alright, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll join that after. Okay, cover jettison. Oh, of course I've seen the New Glenn launch, yeah. Yeah, I assume they did that because if they got a failed ignition on the landing burn, they didn't want it smashing into the ship. So it did look like it was gonna hit the water, like they mistargeted by, you know, a couple degrees, but I believe that was intentional in case they didn't get that landing ignition. They didn't want to smack into the ship, you know, destroy it. IMU alignment complete. Okay, looks pretty good. Honestly, it's a nice safety thing. Because if the ship ever does smack into it because it fails to ignite again, you don't want, you know, all that oil and stuff going into the water. That's kind of an environmental catastrophe, and quite frankly, it is something that I don't think SpaceX ever cared about when they were landing their boosters. There have been plenty of times where those boosters have come down and smashed right into those ships. All right, we're just very lightly time skipping here up to our stabilization control system attitude reference comparison check. Hello, Swan River. Yeah, but it's like a single engine for the landing burn, and it's only for like 5 seconds. I mean, how much are you really talking in payload? I always did like this coasting flight. It's always really peaceful to look at. Just coasting over the Earth, you get to enjoy some of the city lights and clusters of campfires if this was Apollo 11. Or Apollo 8, that is. And here comes the sunrise. Acquisition through the Huntsville. Well, they did have a lot of buffering towards the end, so it was probably shorter than it looked. But yeah, I don't think it's makes that much of a difference, but maybe it does. I don't know. I just think that it would be better to avoid, an oil spill by smashing into a ship if your engine doesn't light. I think it's just a good safety measure to just target right next to the ship and then hover towards it and land every time. But that's just me. Jeff posted a longer shot. I see. Was it slowed down? Probably not. Okay, our last check will be the SCS attitude reference comparison check, and then a basic check of our docking probe, just making sure that the extension system works. And after that, we will be go for TLI, and we'll, as they say, slip the surly bonds of the earth. Coming up over Wymus now. T plus 1 hour 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and go poo and pull up our CDU angles. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Stabilization control system gives us a go. Yeah, I'd be happy to see that because there was a lot of lag. So, if they actually did capture and save it on like on the camera and then recover that and post it, that would be great. It would be nice to see it without the buffering. Okay, docking probe, extend, release. Acquisition to Cape and Merit. We've got good docking probe. So that completes all checks, and we are go for translunar injection. Honestly, I don't know why they don't just do it like the old days. Have a camera in there, film, put the film in a pod, and then jettison the pod as it's flying. And then you come over with a helicopter and a hook, and you just capture the pod by the parachute. And you pull it in, and you process the film. It's such a nice way of doing things. And it makes the best footage. Film is super, super, like, high quality. Depending on the type of film you use, you can get a lossless visual quality. Whereas digital cameras, they just always end up looking like shit. Okay, translunar injection abort here, plus 90 minutes abort. Let's go ahead and accept the state vector update. Yeah, I've seen the auroras. They're pretty awesome. Okay, uplink complete. Go back to POO for state vector integration. Next up will be our TLI plus 4-hour P37 block data. SLS is going back to the moon. They're doing circumlunar navigation, so they're doing a flyby of the moon. Coming up in, I want to say, like, when was it? April of next year? It was March. I know the person that's going to be the capsule communicator for that mission, so I could tell you she's flying. And the construction's almost done. So, February, that's what it was. Thank you. I forgot to click those back to auto. I put them to off. And geez, rookie mistake. No one tossed the blueprints. We know how to build it. We just, the expertise required to manufacture it and keep it from blowing up, that was lost. You can look at the blueprints online. Okay, now is a good point to make a save. All right, let's start configuring for translunar injection. We're definitely, I don't think we're going to beat China to the moon. Landing on it, that is. Starship, I mean, they had so much problems landing a spacecraft the size of 2 phone booths, so the logistics of landing a skyscraper on the moon is... I don't foresee that happening. Like, they had troubles picking spots because there were so many boulders and slanted surfaces and craters that they couldn't land in, and for this spacecraft the size of 2 phone booths, it was hard enough. So, getting Starship down on there with those rinky-dink little landing gear that they had planned, and it's the size of a skyscraper, like, I'm sorry, it's just... You know, I don't think it's gonna land and stay up with it. Lunar Gateway is getting canceled, though. Lunar Gateway did get canceled in favor of saving some semblance of the Mars program. Or it's not like officially canceled, but due to NASA budget cuts, they put a peg in it for the time being. It's on hold for the foreseeable future. So no permanent lunar presence. Okay, TLI Delta B was 10,420.9. Okay, DT stop, reset, 10, 20, 30, 40, 51. And now we just coast on, waiting for time base 6. Well, you can point to the people cutting the NASA budget and canceling missions, a la your Congress. Uh, 4.5 million pounds in just under half an hour. I don't actually know the F1's fuel consumption rate, but I'm pretty sure it's higher than that. Okay. We'll start the digital autopilot again. Okay, coming up on time base 6. We're at the point of the translunar injection burn. We've been in space for 2 hours, 19 minutes. We are on our final little bit of our orbit here. Approaching the 10-minute mark to ignition right about now. Sixteen, 17, 18, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Mark. T-minus 9 minutes to ignition. Yeah, after the launch, the viewership sort of dials back, so it's to be expected. Okay. We'll do our last legs of time skipping. Acquisition Carnarvon. We can see the vent valves are shut, and we are building up light pressure once more. Three minutes to ignition. Our external thrust monitoring program is loading. We'll go ahead and set our ordeal as a sort of backup clock, if you will. T-minus 2 minutes to ignition. Uplink telemetry command reset. EMS mode normal. S2 SEP light on. Ullage initiate. Ullage is go. Go for the translunar injection burn. T-minus 45 seconds to ignition. Foliage is still go at this point. S2 SEP light off. Ten, 9, 8, fuel is leading. 5, foliage complete. 2, 1, ignition. Acquisition at United States Naval Ship Redstone. Velocity currently 26,500 feet per second. Altitude 105.8 nautical miles. Velocity currently 27,500 feet per second. Four minutes to shutdown. Velocity 28,000 feet per second, altitude 106.7 nautical miles. Okay, we're on our way, Jose. Velocity 30,000 feet per second, altitude 113 nautical miles high, 5,700 feet per second to go. Oh, hey, Arco, real quick, I need permission to see the rules in order to see the rules. So if you could please fix your default permissions, that would be great. velocity currently 32,000 feet per second. Altitude 128 nautical miles high, and we can see we are really picking up altitude now, 207 feet per second delta over time. So our altitude is coming up. We've got a nice, beautiful sunrise. Cape Cumberland, flying past the window. The new hatch looks good. I can access those switches in 3D. Life's living a good time. Approximately 44 seconds to shut down now. 1,800 feet per second to go. Velocity 33,938 feet per second. Altitude 151.1 nautical miles high. Our altitude delta over time is 344.0 feet per second. And the terminal steering is in with about 14 seconds to shut down. 500 feet per second to go. 400. 300. 200. Shutdown. Okay, final velocity 35,596 feet per second. 175 nautical miles high at the point of cutoff. We've got booster venting now, and we have a good translunar injection. Spacecraft is, or booster is currently maneuvering spacecraft to point in that LVLH and then engaging attitude hold up until it will make its maneuver towards the undocking attitude. We'll go ahead and write in those post-burn statistics to our state vector. And we're acquisition to the Huntsville again. A verb 66 is in. And we are ready to begin pre-separation. Turn on the COAS. Get RCS jet control. TVC. Verify our docking probe circuit breakers are closed. We'll terminate the waste stowage venting. And we'll start our pressurization. Alright, thank you. Goodbye, Earth. It was nice knowing you. So, Booster has completed its job for the manned leg of this mission. The final thing it needs to do is just to maneuver to the separation attitude. We have now officially, quote, slipped the surly bonds of the Earth, unquote, and we are headed towards the moon. Second time humans have ever been there, and the first time we're dragging along a lunar module. Sadly, we will not be landing. Very unfortunate, I know. All right. And maneuver to separation attitude is currently underway. The booster's final job for the manned leg of this flight. After this, it will do a pacification and inject itself into a slingshot trajectory where it will go and fly by the moon. The moon will gravity assist it and throw it into solar orbit. We can see the app's doing heavy work as she fires to get us into that proper attitude. So a little bit of a unique attitude from Apollo 11, a little bit further in that yaw direction than we saw with Apollo 11 last time we flew that. RCS checks complete. We're ready for undocking. We're just going to make ourselves some calculations for the attitudes which will be required to grab that LEM out of that Saturn lunar module adapter. I hope you all enjoyed the ride on the boost. A very peaceful coast into orbit. Saw a couple landmarks fly over. Mostly fixated on spacecraft systems though. And I hope the TLI was feeling pretty smooth. We are prepping the digital autopilot for the transposition and docking here, setting it to CSM control only, and then just changing our roll configuration to fire out the AC jets. We'll do a verb 66. That just writes our current state vector into the LEM slot. Now we'll make computations for our separation attitude, or our docking attitude, and we'll compare them to the extraction attitude here. So we'll take register 1, which is 360 point 360.5, and we'll subtract 60 from that. It's about 300.5, and then we take pitch, which is 150.75, and we will add 180 to that, getting us 330.75, and then for yaw, we'll just do 360 minus 40.62. That's 319.38. We'll go ahead and we will load that into the computer here. We'll get the Delta V counter set up here. We have to slew it to minus 100 just because at 0, when we tried this in Apollo 9, we just found out that it was not particularly good. So this minus 100 helps the EMS be more accurate. And to be honest, I'm not entirely sure why that is, and I'd have to see some technical documents since I'm sure it was investigated after Apollo 9.
Translation.
Houston, we've got good separation.
Okay. We're free.
Rotation.
A little bit behind schedule, that separation was, but that's perfectly okay. We've got ample amount of time to do this. Small pitch around here. We can see the lemon there. Let's just put this away for 2 seconds. And there it is. I don't know what the point of terminating verb 47 or program 47 now is. A little bit of an interesting choice, but sure. Okay, we no longer need the emergency detection system as we are staged from the booster. While we're making our maneuver, we'll go ahead and power up the high gain antenna. And the last thing to do here is just simply to close distance and dock with the lunar module. Ah, Atlas 5 is lifting off right now. I didn't know that, actually.
Translation.
A lot of space stuff going on today.
Rotation. Translation.
Nice. What's the Atlas 5 doing today? What's she putting into orbit?
Rotation. Translation. Rotation. Translation. Rotation. Translation.
ViaSat 3. Okay. Okay. Alright, throttle down there. Coming in just a little bit hot. Give us a couple puffs aft here. Capture. Okay, talkback's barber pole. CMC free. Whew. Gets my heart jumping every time. Retract is armed. We have hard dock. CS logic. Good. All right, commence pressurization. Okay, 4.5, we'll go ahead and shut that valve. Not that one. That one. And then we'll just double check that after, you know, the tunnel pressure gets moved into the LEM and everything gets stable on that side, we should see stable pressure, no decrease. Yep. We're looking pretty good there. Still fluctuating just ever so slightly, but there's no noticeable leak where she would, you know, be going up pretty rapidly, so go ahead and continue pressurization. Expected. Okay. Pressure is beginning its final equalization here. We did get our evasive maneuver pad. Are we going to get any more work pads after that? Does not look like it. Okay. We're going to go ahead and resume the waste stowage venting. Transfer to CSM power for the LEM. Now we'll just make sure the umbilical's good. Ah, nice, thank you. Good to know that it's functioning. We'll go ahead and install the hatch. .168 by 4s. That's big. That's far. I mean, we're definitely further. But that's far. That's in nautical miles, right? Pretty sure. That's far. Two 1101. Enter. Proceed. 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 Oh, kilometers. Okay, that's not so far. That is not so far. It's scaring me for a second. GTO. GTO. That's not geostationary, is it? Verb 6 now, 22. Enter. Geostationary transfer orbit. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's kind of trippy though. Once you get like this far away, the Earth, suddenly it's shrinking a lot less. It's pretty though. Our target all the way over there. And we can see all those nice, beautiful landmarks. Okay, approaching our LEM ejection time. P47 is in.
Rotation. Translation.
Okay. All right. Let's make our evasive maneuver here. So we're looking at an attitude of 001, 255, and 358. Time base 6 is now being loaded into the booster, or excuse me, time base 6. Time base 8 is being enabled and loaded into the booster. So if all is well, assuming this booster does anything, we would be able to see it out the hatch window. Couldn't quite see it out of Apollo 11, out of the hatch in Apollo 11, but we've got acquisition of the booster now. We can see the top of that fuel tank and us drifting on by. For the purposes of making this short service propulsion system burn. A small booster evasion, which will coat the engine nozzle in case we don't have any mid-course corrections requiring a service propulsion burn. It is required to do one before LOI because if you don't coat the engine with the thrust plumes, they suspected that the engine could possibly fail or explode in some kind of way, like it helps out the engine somehow. Not exactly sure of the science behind that, but that was the rules, so we're going to follow them. Time of ignition for this burn is 4 hours, 39 minutes, and 9.70 seconds. Delta V for the burn. This is a very small burn of simply 5.1 feet per second in the x-axis. Okay, predicted periapsis after ignition is 128. We show 126.1. That's more than okay. And we're coming down to T-minus 17. Proceed. Oh, excuse me, actually. Hold up. Proceed. That was plus 0019. Didn't see that. The gray makes the yellow text a little bit hard to see. Alright, compensated for cutoff here. We're given a 15.5 feet per second burn. Again, compensated for cutoff, 127.5. That is much closer. Okay, SPS burn managing program. We'll go ahead and proceed. Yep, MCC1 is always burned. Always burned on SPS for Apollo 8. It's either MCC1 or MCC2, but I believe Apollo 8 did, at least in the MCC mission, always burn SPS every time that I flew it, so SPS for MCC1. Yeah, how was that experience? Did you like it? Was it performing good? I quite like the SPS. It's a really powerful engine. It's actually capable of lifting off the command and service module from the moon. .5 delta VT, 5.3 delta VC. Yep, sounds about right. You didn't run into any troubles with anything, like setting your trim or anything like that? Damn. There's a very weird looking star out there. It's got a tail. No major problems. Okay. That's good.
Rotation.
Okay, pitch 1 start. Yaw 1 start. No manual thrust vector control. Alright, secondary TVCs. minus plus 0 and minus plus 0. Bad values in are plus 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, minus 1, 2. Pitch up, center, pitch down, center, yaw left, center, yaw right, center. Okay, checks are good. Proceed. Go ahead and watch the computer do it from the outside. And the trim will load. There it is. Oh yeah, that happens. Misclick on the event timer. It's very common. You gotta get used to it though, because you could really mess up in a rendezvous type situation where you don't get the countdown on the computer. Disky blank. Average G mode is on. Pippas are live. EMS normal. I always do countdowns. I just find them easier for me. Ten. 5, verb 99, proceed. 2, 1, ignition. Shut down. Okay, evasive maneuver complete. Gimbal motors off. PVC servos off. Main bus ties off. Okay, we are going to go SCS because the spacecraft is doing nonsense that I don't want it to.
Rotation.
Proceed. Do not trim. Verb 82. Enter. Okay, 128.4. It's 0.4 off, but that's good enough. DET stop and reset. Verb 66. Enter. Get a battery charge on battery A. See you around, Arco. Okay, and actually I think I'll also be done here for the night. We'll open tomorrow with observing the slingshot maneuver. I think that'll be pretty fun. And then we'll make mid-course corrections and stuff. So yeah, thank you for joining. I'm going to dip out here.